Are you thinking about making a move to Gilroy, California? Well, you might want to watch this video first. I'm going to give you 5 things that you must know before making a move to Gilroy. And I scoured niche.com to see what some of the biggest feedback was for this area, plus I'll share some of my opinions. If we haven't met before, my name is Christa Nielsen with Real Broker, and welcome to my channel. Number 1 is the high cost of living and the lack of affordable housing. The average sales price currently in Gilroy is $1,134,000. Starter homes can start somewhere between $700,000 and $800,000. An average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is $2,500, whereas average rent for a 2-bedroom is $2,900. And to make matters worse, only 225 homes in 2022 sold that were under $1 million. I wish I had better news, but unfortunately, due to the proximity of the Silicon Valley area and tech campuses, we only are expecting home values to continue to rise. This is great news for people that already own in Gilroy, not so great news for people that are trying to just break the barrier and get into a home. By the way, if you want to see other local content about Gilroy and specifically about the market, check out this playlist where you can see other things about South County, which is South Santa Clara County. Number 2 on the list is the smell of garlic. I know this sounds really weird, especially if you're not from this area, but Gilroy is actually the garlic capital of the world. Until a few years ago, we also had a garlic festival, which brought in thousands and thousands of people every year. Unfortunately, due to insurance reasons, they had to shut that down indefinitely. But the garlic still grows. You may have heard of Christopher Ranch. That's one of the biggest manufacturers of garlic in the world, and this is where it is located. Depending on where you live and depending on the way the wind blows, you may wake up and it smells like garlic. But don't worry, vampires will not be visiting you. Number 3 is the seasonal heat and cold weather / flooding. So this is a tough one because in California, it's all over the news. If you're on any of the social platforms, you see a lot of videos about it, but the whole state is having major weather right now. But in general, I will heed a warning with the fact that there is a slightly higher water table in Gilroy. There's a big reservoir and creek system. So in extreme weather, like we're facing right now, you're going to get some flooding. Now again, this is very specific to where you live in this city, and it's a pretty large city at that. So you want to make sure that you talk with your realtor, hopefully me, about the areas that you're considering to know and understand if this is a flood zone and if there's anything you should be aware of. Now, talking about the opposite, in the summer, it does get rather hot here. So we get quite a few days that are in the 90s, mid to high 90s at typically the worst. Maybe we have a few days dipping into the hundreds, but it does get hot. We don't have much humidity, so at least you escape that. For those of you coming from Texas and Florida, you will not get as much humidity, but it definitely gets warm. And because a lot of the homes are older, not every house has air conditioning. Number 4 is limited entertainment options, nightlife, and it's a small town feel. So a lot of people mention this, and it's definitely something that I don't want to shy away from. Gilroy is still a relatively small town in the rural sense. It was a farm town for many years. It still is primarily a farm town, but they are slowly developing restaurants and bars in the downtown area and in pockets throughout the city. It is absolutely continuing to grow, but it is slow moving. Before I go on to the most important item on this list, I want to mention that you should definitely subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content just like this. Okay. Now let's go on to number 5. Number 5 is the long commute that you may have to endure if you are coming from the Silicon Valley area, AKA traffic. This is a big one. I always tell every single one of my clients that is considering moving south of San Jose to check the commutes and drive it to make sure that you can tolerate how it feels. The weather is bad. If there's an accident, things can get really backed up, and there's not a lot of options or outlets that you can find that's free of traffic. From many of the main locations in Silicon Valley, you should plan on typically taking about 45 minutes to an hour. Again, with extreme circumstances, it could be up to an hour and a half, so just be prepared for that. Although there are public transportation options like Caltrain and tech buses, they are still few and far between. So you want to make sure that if you work different hours or you don't want to stick to the morning and evening set commute hours that these public transportation services offer, then you might have to expect to drive. There are some limited side streets, but due to a lot of construction planned out for 2023, they might not always be open. Also, if the freeway's backed up, most people funnel to those other side streets to get home. Well, there you have it. There are so many positives about moving to this beautiful town in southern Santa Clara County. However, you need to make sure that you know the good, the bad, and the ugly before you plan a move there. If you're considering making a move anywhere in California, make sure to contact me at the info below and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.